Black boys made the wave, these boys don't make a splash. Greedy with a ball, I ain't passing that.
Yes, everybody, and welcome back to Sick FC. And today we're going to be talking about England versus Ghana. Now, England had a really good result in the first group stage game against Croatia. They played really well, beat them 4-2. Croatia pressed quite high, and England managed to beat that press and use our pace and our transition, and Harry Kane dropping in with Gordon and Rashford and Madueke and Saka running in behind and causing them all sorts of problems, Bellingham crashing the box. It was a good performance, but they came up against something very different in Ghana. Now, Ghana are a team that were going to sit back, and Ghana did everything that they could to frustrate England, to make England lose their temper, to make them lose their patience, and it worked absolute treat. It worked an absolute treat. Now, Ghana deployed a really, really strict, disciplined defensive block, and they frustrated England for the whole game. And I think that England will be really disappointed with the result, but obviously they've got another group game coming, so they can easily make it through this group, so it's not the end of the world. But I do think this has shown us some problems with the way that Thomas Tuchel's set up and the squad that he's called up. And I just want to talk about a couple of those things in this video. Now, it is interesting with the squad that Thomas Tuchel's called up, the type of players he's called up, because he's picked a squad that is very, very good in defending and attacking big spaces. But when the team sits back and when a team has that structured low block or mid block, there's no creativity and there is no intricacy in between the lines. And if you're going to play a midfield two of Royce and Anderson, you need to have a 10 who's going to be creative and who's going to be responsible for getting the ball into the front players and for playing those balls around the corners and 1-2s on the edge of the box. And that's not Bellingham's game. I love Jude Bellingham. Look, there's not an ounce in my bones that says that Jude Bellingham shouldn't start for England. I wholeheartedly believe that he should. But I think you need someone in midfield who is going to dictate tempo of the game, especially against a team who's going to sit back. Now, this is probably going to be England's hardest game in terms of stylistically matching up with what they have. I mean, when you look at how Ghana play, they're gonna sit a bank in front of the box, and it's going to be England's responsibility to break them down. There is no way that having players like Gordon and Madueke is the best way to do that. You can't have a team full of road runners and have no space to run into. Like, it doesn't work. And the whole reason why England looks so dangerous on the attack against Croatia is because Croatia pressed. And if you're going to play against a team who's going to sit deep, you just can't afford to not have the technical ability in and around the box and the creativity in the team. Otherwise, you're just going to look stale every single time that you play. Now, I'd seen reports that Rashford had got a knock in the last game, so that's why he didn't start this game, but he only played 7 or 8 minutes, which is ridiculous. Anthony Gordon is not a better footballer than Marcus Rashford. I've said it on this channel many enough times. Anthony Gordon is not better at football than Marcus Rashford. And when you've got someone like Rashford who has the ability to score from distance, to beat a man and shoot, to run in behind as well, you need to start him, because Gordon doesn't have the quality he does not have the quality in him to break down defensive teams. And when he goes to Barcelona, he's going to get pouters. He's going to get pouters from the Barcelona fans, because there's absolutely no way, when they've got to come up against a team who's sitting in and making themselves hard to beat, that Gordon's what you want on the wing. It's just not what you want. And then I look at games like this and I just wonder, why did you not take Gibbs White? Like, I know Gibbs White is, again, quite a physical, like, transition heavy player, but look, at least Gibbs White's got the ability to break down a game or hit a moment of magic or just score a goal. Like, other than Harry Kane, I just look at the front line. I don't see the other forwards scoring. Like, if Saka's not starting and Rashford's not starting, I've got no faith in Gordon or Madueke. Absolutely none whatsoever. And you can't go into a tournament coming up against top sides and not have any player capable of breaking a team down. Like, what are we doing? And then Then you talk about the chances in the game. Ghana should have had a penalty. Like, there is absolutely no way that Ghana shouldn't have had a penalty in that game. Absolutely got away with one. He's both his feet are in the air when he's made the tackle as well. England have got away with one. Ghana had a few good chances. Like, they have to be careful. And I know England have these second game woes quite often, but just people need to hold their excitement on England a little bit. And I do think get someone in midfield who can play the ball. Modern football, one of my main problems with modern football is everybody is so focused on what players can do without the ball. Look, Anderson is exceptional off the ball, and he's pretty good on the ball. This is not me saying he's terrible at football, because he's not. But sometimes you just need someone who's going to dictate the tempo of the game. Kobbie Mainoo's not seen a minute in these 2 games, and England will be a better team for it. When he comes in, he will facilitate good football, because that's what he does. He's a facilitator and he's a connector. And when he gets into that midfield and he takes the ball off the back foot and then he plays it into the midfield too, he just manages to connect the whole pitch. You need players who are going to get close to each other against teams who are going to sit in, so you can get that combination play going and break down the low block. Gordon, Harry Kane dropping in deep and Gordon in behind isn't going to work if there's no space in behind, is there? So yeah, I do think Tuchel has had, I wouldn't say he's had a mare, but he's had a bit of a difficult game. Now, what does this mean for England? So for me, as much as this is a disappointing performance, I more say this means that you're going to know how England are going to struggle. So like, teams who have got the ability to sit in and then have got players in the counter-attack who can really cause England problems, they're going to be big concerns coming on like later stage of the tournament. Because if you give England the ball and you say, go on then, beat us, we're not going to be able to. But other teams are going to be able to hit us on the break, especially with the way the back four is at the moment. So yeah, England are going to have to be careful against some of the teams who have got more dangerous players on transition, because if that's Elise and it's Mbappe running against you when you lose the ball, do you trust the back four to be able to deal with that kind of threat? Do you trust the midfield to be able to screen against that kind of threat? I mean, we've got loads of energy in the team, absolutely loads of it, and we've got players who are good on transition. But eventually, look, quality will tell, and you can't go up against the top sides and not have the tools to break them down. So England do need to be careful. I do think, though, it's not likely that a France or a Portugal or a Spain are going to play as deep as Ghana played today. So it's not all doom and gloom. Like, I'm not saying that England can't do well, but I just think that's going to be something that I need to watch out for. And Ghana have given teams the blueprint today as to how to beat England. And I think that's something that Tuchel needs to be aware of. Now, positives, I thought the back four did look better than it did look against Croatia. It was he came in and did pretty well. I'm struggling. I think, I don't know, I just see England going quarter semis. I've felt this way the whole time under the tournament, and then when I seen the squad, I felt like that even more. Bring in Kobbie Mainoo, man. That is what I say. Bring in Kobbie Mainoo. Let's try and get playing in midfield and try and actually, rather than having just road runners everywhere, let's try and actually get some football being played. I know Palmer and Foden didn't come to the tournament, but we don't really have any facilitators of football in this team right now, and that's what I want to see. I will say, though, Panama being the next group game is perfect for England, because they can go into that game knowing if they play well, they can comfortably get a good victory and bring the confidence back into the team. And I wouldn't be surprised to see England go and beat Panama 5 or 6-0, because the quality gap between the two teams is absolutely ginormous. But I still don't think that would tell you anything about England. Like, you need to know about England further in the tournament when they come up against the top sides. I'm still a little bit, I still felt a little bit disappointed with them in the tournament overall. Like, I thought they had a really good second half against Croatia, but the first half I wasn't too impressed. And then this game was an absolute snooze fest. So Probably the worst game of the tournament so far, but you know, that's always the way in England's second game, everybody knows. Now, the stats do paint the picture that England dominated the game, because they did. They had 78.9% possession to Ghana's 21%. They had 19 shots to Ghana's 2. They had 3 shots on target to Ghana's 1. But what does that tell you about the quality of chances that England were making? I mean, 3 shots on target, and Ghana had 1 shot on target from 2 shots. Do you know what I mean? Like, it just seems to be a lack of that creativity in the England team, that final bit that can allow us to have better quality chances. So I just think, get Kobbie Mainoo in. I'm telling you now, if Kobbie comes into this team, it will change the way that England play. And they need to get players closer together, because when you're playing against a team that sits as deep as Ghana's going to sit, the players are too far apart. That would be my main gripe with England. The players are too far apart. We can't get any combinations, and it's too slow. Like, you need players who are around each other, around the edge of the box, who can get them flicks going and get them quick 1-2s. We're not playing the right players for it right now. Also, before we end this video, look, I need to make sure that I give credit to Ghana, because they defended really resolutely. They gave absolutely everything. Bodies were on the line. And they frustrated England. They had a game plan, and they played it to perfection. They did exactly what they wanted, and they nearly got away with all 3 points. If they'd have been given that penalty towards the end, they could have got away with it. They could have literally beaten England today. So you have to give absolutely huge props to Ghana. We've got Harry Kane, we've got Jude Bellingham, we've got all these well-renowned, goal-scoring, talented players, and they managed to keep us out and keep it to a clean sheet. So shout out to Ghana, man. You've got to give them credit. End of the world. Panama are up next, and England will probably comfortably win that and top the group. The group is looking quite tight at the moment, with Croatia on 3 points, Ghana and England both on 4, and then Panama on none. It's not looking likely that Panama could get anything against England, but you can't write them off. So England need to go to play against Panama, and they need to finish the job. And I think that they will. I think it'll be a comfortable 5 or 6-0 win. And I think we'll really find out about England, like I said earlier, when they play against Spain's, Portugal's, Germany's and the like. That's when we'll find out about England's true credentials. Like I said though, for me, I just feel like they're going quarters, semis, and I feel like that's the limit of the team. Hopefully I'm wrong, but that's how I feel. So yeah, that's been me talking about England versus Ghana, England's second game of this World Cup. I'm going to be doing another video as well, talking about the World Cup so far. We're going to be talking who's been the best players in the tournament, who's been the worst, who's been the biggest flops of the tournament, who's been the biggest surprise, all of that good stuff. So keep it locked to Sick FC. Thank you for watching the video. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Take care.
Black boys made the wave, these boys don't make a splash. Greedy with a ball,